here. How are you? I hope that you are okay. Me? Oh, thank you for asking. I'm okay too. It's assembly number 2, and it's the week beginning the 11th of November 2024. Right, come with me. Let's do our routine. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Well, I can see that the long hand, that's our yellow pencil, is touching the number 12. And I know, yes, that's right, it's o'clock. I can also see that the short hand, our hour hand, is pointing towards the number 5. That's right. Put it all together and I get 5 o'clock. Yes, well done. Now, our language of the month, we're still in the month of November, so we're learning to speak in Shona. And Mrs. Lee is trying to pronounce this correctly, but I keep making mistakes. Hopefully I'll learn soon. I think we say hello in Shona by saying mohoro, mohoro. Hopefully I've got that right. If I haven't, come find me and tell me. Now over my shoulder, we can see that the Makaton sign of the week, it's changed, hasn't it? It's one we've done before, children. It's a 2-action piece and it says kindness. Can you sign kindness? Can you sign kindness? Ah, well done, children. Kindness, kindness, kindness. Now, why does Mrs. Lee want us to think about kindness? Now, well, if you look over here, we've got 3 things. We've got rule of law. That's those things. Remember the golden rules. Can you show me on your fingers how many we've got? That's right, we've got 7, haven't we? Now, we have the golden rules at Hartford Infant and Preschool, but around the world, in different countries, they have different rules. Armistice Day, Remembrance Sunday. Now, you might have this week been wearing a poppy. Mrs. Lee's dropped out of her jumper. Oh no. You might have been wearing a poppy anyway, and hopefully at some point we sat down together and we didn't say anything, did we? We just thought about those people who are no longer here, who looked after us and fell for us. We sometimes say that they died in battle, but they tried to make sure that the world was a better place, didn't they? Now, the last thing is Anti-Bullying Week. Now, I don't know if you can see, but Mrs. Lee's going to try really, really hard. Wait 1 second. Let's see if I can do this. Ready? Woo! We're going to slip you down there. I don't know if you can see. There I am again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, oh! I have yellow socks on. That foot. 1, 2, 3. Oh! And I have a grey and white sock on this foot. Because to start off Anti-Bullying Week, we would really like you to wear some odd socks. So if you've got yellow socks or grey and white socks, or maybe you've got pink socks, or maybe you've got red socks. Let's go on. Let's see if you can come a bit higher. There you go. That was a bit of a close-up, wasn't it? If you come in your odd socks, that means you're supporting Anti-Bullying Week. Now, that's all about being kind. All about being kind. Can you sign kind for me? Kind. I've got lots of books about being kind outside my office, and I would love you to come and have a look at them. Some of them are like this one. It's a really nice book. It's got flaps in it. All about being kind. I think this person is using that umbrella to keep this person, stop them from getting wet. You might have also seen in the research centre that we are celebrating Lauren Child. She writes lots and lots of books. Some of them are about Charlie and Lola. Some of them are different other books. And there's this one. It's called That Pesky Rat. And I think this is a book all about kindness. And I'm going to share it with you now. Are you ready? It's called That Pesky Rat by Lauren Child. This is me. I'm the one with the pointy nose and the beady eyes, the cutesy one in the middle. I live in dustbin number 3, Grubby Alley. And every now and then I come back to find someone has emptied all my belongings into a big van and driven off with them. It's very upsetting. I'm a brown rat, a street rat, but people call me that pesky rat. I don't know why. They say I smell, but that's not my fault. It's just a dirt. Sometimes when I'm tucked into my crisp packet, I look up at the cosy windows and I wonder what it would be like to live with creature comforts, to belong to somebody, to be an actual pet. But most of all, I would like to have a name instead of just that pesky rat. My friend Pierre, who is a chinchilla, is looked after by a rich lady called Madame Fifi. He has a glamorous life. He lives in the lap of luxury. I say, I would like to live in a fashionable apartment and be fed chocolates while I sit on feather cushions. Pierre says, it's not all cushions and chocolates. Madame Fifi has me shampooed at the pet parlour once a week. I hate having baths. I think I'm allergic to soap. Who else is allergic to soap? Then there's the Siamese cat called Oscar, and he lives with Mr. Washington, a busy businessman. Mr. Washington is always at work, so he doesn't have time to wash fur or be strict. If I lived there, I could do whatever I liked. Oscar says, doing whatever you want can get tiring after a while. Sometimes I get a bit bored watching the same old TV shows. Well, I'm quite good in the kitchen, but I hate to be bored. Now, a lop-eared rabbit I know called Nibbles works in a circus with Mr. Hoopla. It must be so exciting. Never a dull moment. Swinging on the trapeze one minute, tiptoeing on the high wire the next. Nibbles says, it is fun hopping through hoops in a tutu, but sometimes I wish I could do Mrs. Lee's gone all muddled. But sometimes I could do with taking off the clown's nose and putting up my feet. Well, maybe it's all a bit nerve-wracking for me. I'd quite like one of those owners who does a lot of sitting about, you know, like Miss Sinclair. Her Scotty dog Andrew is always sitting by the fire, always having supper on a tray, and always spending the evening doing puzzles together. Well, it looks like fun. Andrew says, on the whole, I feel very well looked after, thank you very much. And Miss Sinclair is good company, but it's rather embarrassing when we go out shopping. Can you see? They've got matching coats. Oh, I don't think the clothes would suit me, but I would do anything to be somebody's pet. So in the morning, I go to the pet shop and I ask Miss Trill if she has an owner who might want me. She says there isn't much call for brown rats, you know, and I'm afraid you aren't very popular with the public. I say, I don't see why not. I'm very good company. I'm always popping up when you least expect me to, and I'm happy to eat anything, even if it's been slightly nibbled. And Miss Trill says, well, you could always make a notice and put it in the window. You never know. So I write. I don't know if you can read his writing, it's a bit tricky. Brown rat looking for kindly owner with an interest in cheese. Hobbies include nibbling and chewing. Would like a collar with my name on. Would like a name. Would prefer no baths. Will wear a jumper if pushed. Yours keenly, brown rat. That pesky rat. P.S. Sorry about the bad poor writing. Not very good picture. Bit tricky, that writing. Mrs. Lee had a bit of trouble reading it, didn't she? Then I wait. And I wait. And I wait. Oh dear. On Tuesday, old Mr. Forsyth is passing and he stopped to look at my notice. He has to really squint because he has such bad eyesight. Then he looks at me and he says, my, haven't you got a pointy nose? And goodness me, what a long tail and such unusual beady eyes. I'll take him. Oh, I can't believe my luck. Mrs. Trill says, are you sure? And Mr. Forsyth says, oh yes, I've been looking for a brown cat, as nice as this one for ages. Mrs. Trill looks at me, and I look at Mrs. Trill, and then we both look back at my notice, but neither of us says a word. Remember when Mrs. Lee was getting muddled up? I don't know if that looks like a or a k. I think Mr. Forsyth might have got a bit confused. And I love being a pet though. And I'm trying to be really helpful. I pick out the best cheeses by using my excellent sniffing nose. I clean the kitchen by nibbling up all the crumbs off the floor. I help Mr. Forsyth cross the road by scaring the traffic. And I'm always there when he comes home. So here I am. Finally, a pet with a name. So what if I have to wear a little jumper? And Mr. Forsyth says, well, Tiddles, who's a pretty kitty cat? And I squeak, I am. Kitty cat? Aw, how kind was Mr. Forsyth? He was such a kind person, wasn't he? And he took on our pesky rat and called him Nibbles. What a kind thing to do. Well, I'm hoping that this week you're thinking about being kind. One of our things that we would love you to do is to create one of our odd socks. Mrs. Lee started hers. I haven't finished it yet. I'm going to colour in these white bits. And I'm also going to, I've started it here. I've written my name here, Mrs. Lee, and I'm going to put into the sections some names of people that I trust. Maybe people that I trust in school, or maybe at home. So if I was feeling sad, or I was feeling angry, or maybe I was feeling scared, and I needed somebody to be kind to me, I would go to them. So maybe have a little look around the classroom now. Who do you think you would go to? Who would listen and would be kind to you if you were feeling a bit scared or a little bit unsure because of maybe somebody's not being very kind? Hopefully, fingers crossed, everybody's going to wear different coloured socks. Whew. And we're all going to think about being kind to one another. Right, Mrs. Lee's going to finish there. I hope you have a super week. Nearly forgot. That's it. It's our prayer, isn't it? Close your eyes if you want to. Put your hands together if you want to. Fold your arms if you want to. Open your eyes if you want to. But you must say the words. Ready? Help me to do the things I should, to be to others kind and good, in all my work and all my play, to grow more loving every day. Amen. Right, bye children.